Let's talk about some of the symbolism in the new Frankenstein movie. I saw Guillermo Del Toro's new Frankenstein movie last week in the movie theater, but now that it's finally out on Netflix, I feel like I can finally talk about the symbol. So don't watch this if you haven't seen it yet, or if you don't want anything spoiled for you. Okay, first things first, this movie deals with color. Two colors really stand out in the film: red and white. Now, red is a symbol for love, passion. Passion also means suffering, power, and sin. Now, at the beginning of the movie, Guillermo Del Toro portrays Victor's mother as dressed all in red. Now, this is important because it's really what plays throughout the rest of the movie. I think that we see all the different versions of the meaning of red portrayed almost like as a life cycle throughout the film. So it starts out, I think, as love. And here you can see his mother has her arms around his neck in an embrace. And it's a really strong symbol of the love that he has for his mother and the hold that she has on him. I mean, look at that shot. I also think, though, it's a symbol of his mother suffering. She's not happy in her marriage. She's not treated well. Neither is Victor. And he sees that suffering, and it forms their bond, like, even closer. I found it really interesting that when his mom passes on, she's buried in this white casket with this deep red interior of the casket. I think it's a symbol that her suffering was internal, yet she was portrayed or meant to portray her life as perfect. It could also be a symbol that though she suffered greatly, she was innocent. For the rest of the film, Victor wears red. He's either got the red around his neck as the scarf, or he wears red gloves throughout the film while he's working on the monster, okay? He even wears like a red suit at one point. We have this scene here too where even as a child, he begins wearing red on his hands in this scene where he's hugging his brother. I think it's a symbol that he's bringing his brother into his new passion, his new goal and mission in life. Now, red being a symbol for his mother and the love he has for his mother, it makes sense why when this angel, this dark angel, comes to him in a dream, he trusts it. This dark angel is trying to convince Victor that he can defeat death, and it comes to him in red. Now, when Victor is working on the monster, he's wearing those red gloves. When he's succeeded in making the monster, he awakes in like a sea of red blankets surrounding him. To me, this was so clear that he's crossed over now from like love, suffering, power to now sin. He's awoken in his sin. And why has he done it all? Why has he wanted to do this thing? It's to overcome death. He cannot let go of his mother. Hence, I've seen a lot of people talking about the milk thing. Throughout the whole film, Victor is drinking milk. He drinks at the beginning, middle, end. Like, he's always drinking milk. When I saw this, I was like, oh, he's like still attached to his mother. He's like an unweaned child. He can't let go of the past. It's also a sign of his identity. Victor wants to become like God. He wants to create life and take away death. But him constantly needing to drink milk is the sign of who he really is, which is a child of God. He is the creation. He's not the creator. He's an infant that's in a fallen mortal world. And we see this like religious iconography, it's just slightly twisted, like here where he's putting the monster up on like the contraption. And it's like a kind of morphed cross, even with the crown of thorns, showing us that what Victor is doing is like an inverse or a counterfeit version of the actual defeat of death, which was Christ on the cross. So Victor's trying to do the same thing, but he's mortal and he's fallen. He's not God. And therefore what he creates is not, it's not the perfect plan. It's not God's plan. It's wrong and it's twisted. And we see that what he ends up creating is actually a death that cannot die. And at first he's amazed by it. And the monster comes forth like wrapped in this sackcloth. It's a very like strong, like Lazarus, even another kind of Jesus symbolism here as the monster rises from the dead. It's even like harmed in its hands and pierced in it. It has the scarring in its side. But unlike God, again, with God's creations, which is us, who were taught God loves us, Victor ends up being completely repulsed by his creation. He wants nothing to do with it eventually, even to the point where he's like, the monster finds him and he's like, I just want a companion. I can't do this alone. And Victor's like, why would I do that? Why would I create another one of you, another monster? Why would I allow you to multiply and replenish the earth and have death beget death? Which is ironic because technically we're all like that little monster, right? In comparison to God, like, multiplying and replenishing the earth, like we kind of are death begetting death down here in comparison with God. So there's some irony there. But we have this sort of Edenic chase where Victor thinks he can just kind of run away from the sin that he's committed and not do anything for the monster he's created, to just deny it, to lie, to deceit. We have this like, it's almost like he thinks he can hide from God. And then we have this monster who is so innocent, like it reminds me of Adam in the garden. He's out here, he's like harvesting berries, he's like at one with the animals, they trust him, he knows nothing, he has this sweet innocence, and like Adam in the garden, it can't die, which also reminds us too of like a resurrected being, like a Christ figure that can't die. It's not Christ though, because it was created by this fallen mortal man. It's not God's plan. It's this unfortunate situation, right? But the monster is completely innocent in being brought to life in this way, which is just another sign of just man not having the same pure, holy, transcendent mind of God, and the level of care that it takes to be able to care for a creation such as this, care for a life in this kind of way, and to bring it to life and to stop death and all of that. Then we have Elizabeth, and Elizabeth is interesting because she loves bugs. She even dresses like a bug. She loves the creeping, crawling things. Like she sees God in those things. She sees divinity. So when she meets the monster, they form a bond, and she cares for it, and she is kind to it, and she sees the beauty and the life in it, I should say, in him. Also at the end, she is dressed in white. She is portraying that innocence, that otherworldliness, that purity of heart and of mind. And I also think that the lace sleeves remind us of the past versions of The Bride of Frankenstein, which I'm just like, I wonder if they'll do a sequel. I didn't really talk about the brother that much, but he also was dressed in white, signifying his, innocence, even though I think at one point he's wearing the red gloves as well, if I recall correctly, when he's helping kind of build the contraption for Victor. So that's signifying like his sin in all of this. But ultimately he was innocent, and he was brought in by Victor's craving for power and craving for that which he should not do. Anyway, there's so much more to talk about, but this video has already gone on so long. I love this quote at the end of the movie, and thus the heart will break, yet brokenly live on. I guess the last thing I'll say is that Mary Shelley actually gave the book Frankenstein an alternate title, which is A Modern Prometheus. And the myth Prometheus is that Prometheus really wanted to be like the gods. He wanted wisdom, and so he went and he stole fire from the gods. And as a punishment, Zeus would have an eagle come down and eat his liver every day, only for it to regenerate the next. So we see that in this movie, the punishment for Victor for trying to steal from the gods, in a sense, is that the monster regenerates. It can't die, and it hunts him down till his last days. In a way, with this title in mind, it's almost like Victor and the monster are one and the same, that the monster is almost a part of Victor and his punishment for what he did. Anyway, it's a really great movie, and you should see it, and if you want to talk more about it, let's do it.